I don't go nowhere where gay is illegal because they're gonna be like, we got one on this plane. It's MPB, FAG, scroll down memory lane with the one and only me. I'm Nicole Paige Brooks from Atlanta, Georgia. Welcome to Scroll Patrol. We're gonna be looking at some of my old photos, going through my phone and seeing what I should have deleted. For more Scroll Patrol with me, Nicole Paige Brooks, like and subscribe below. And for the uncensored version, go to Wow Presents Plus. One major difference between me, season 2, and All Stars 10 is I'm a married woman now. Happily married. I say I downloaded them because I woke up one morning and I was like, I'm ready to date. Duh! So I tweeted out, I'm ready to date again. And then, OkCupid tweeted to me, Nicole, if you do it, we'll put you on the A list. And I guess that's like all the free stuff or whatever. And I was like, sure. So I was like, I don't want to be on one of those butthole sites where they just greet you with their wrong directions, you know what I mean? I don't want to see any of that. See, I kind of catfished him because whenever I went to Brandy's wedding, I had like 3 weeks off and I never had that much time off. So I grew a little goatee and that was my profile picture because I didn't want anybody that knew Nicole. All my adult relationships were through Nicole. So my next one I wanted to be sure wasn't because of Nicole. So I thought I was catfishing him, but he said he was looking for the most feminine person and he picked me because he thought that would mean that I was the bottom. He was wrong. So we chatted a little bit. He was talking about how he was short, and I was like, oh, I love that, short. He's like, I'm so short. I'm like, great, perfect. I love short guys. And then my mother was in the hospital. She had a kidney stone, and like, she has a headache. She wants to go to the hospital. So I was like, I'm at the hospital with my mom. He was like, well, I'm coming up to the hospital then, because I'm meeting you today. It was Pearl Harbor Day. My mom was like, just get out of here. She doesn't like me at the hospital anyway. I asked the doctors too many questions. So she was like, go on your date. So I met him at, my best friend Jan was a bartender at 6 Feet Under. So we met there and I was the first person he's ever been on a date with. He was my first online date and we've been together ever since. I try to keep Nicole's fame to a minimum as long as possible with him. Because I didn't really know what his reaction, but he knew I did drag because I put a performer in my profile. But he didn't know to the extent that I did drag. Our first date, he's like, why are all these people so nice to you? I was like, oh, I do drag and I performed here before, you know? And then a couple hours into it, his sister was like, I think that's a really famous drag queen you're on a date with. And I was like, don't Google me. I was like, tell your sister not to be Googling me. But I was able to keep it to like a minimum for about maybe 2 or 3 weeks before he caught on that it was more than what it is. But, you know, he's a little worried about, he thought this was gonna make us so famous that people were gonna be outside of our house and stuff like that. And I'm like, babe, it's gay famous. Only if we go to gay spots will I be recognized. I said, if we go to a regular restaurant, nobody's gonna be screaming and hollering at us. He's like, we're not gonna be able to go out to eat anymore. I'm like, no, we'll be fine. I was like, it's not gonna be like that. That's us in Paris, taking selfies. And I was like, nobody's gonna recognize me on this trip. And he's like, oh really? I said, I doubt that anybody's gonna recognize you today. And we were just talking and somebody comes around the corner, Nicole Paige Brooks. And I'm like, what? I heard your voice around the corner. I was like, what? But it was like cool because then they like became our like tour guide for the whole weekend that we were there. So that was kind of nice. He loves to travel. And I mean, so do I. He was courting me with all these trips. We don't do those no more. Like he took me to Italy, girl. And this was like, I think this was a test. Cause he was like, over the hills and through the woods, bus trains, we landed, got on a bus, went all this way. Then we had to like walk to this other train thing. Then we got on another train and another bus and and then we had to walk over all these. And you know, Italy is like cobblestones. Up and over cobblestones. And then we get like all the way to this thing. And that's when he looks at this big old fancy train station or whatever. And he's like, well, yeah, we could have just taken a train straight from the airport to this thing. I'm like, what the? I was like, I'm gonna have to cuss this man out, but I don't know how to get back home. So I was like, what the? I was like, this was a test, honey. And then we went into this lovely hotel and slept for 2 days because we were exhausted. Say hi, babe. Say happy birthday, Jeremiah. Happy birthday, Jeremiah. The only thing that gives me comfort when we travel is like, I need to see other other sissies, you know what I mean? Like, take me to the gay spot. Because if I see them, then I'm like, okay, I'm not the gayest thing in town. Otherwise, I'm like, I'm the gayest thing in town. So I need, you know, my husband kind of can do his work voice and pass, but girl, I'm on an airplane, they're like, we got one on this flight. You know what I mean? I don't go nowhere where gay is illegal because they're like, we got one on this plane. If we touch down, we got us a live one right here. So I do not do anything where gay is even halfway illegal. And he works for an airline, he kept like proposing with his benefits. Like, I had a toothache, he's like, if we were married, you can go to the dentist. I'm like, did you just propose with your benefits? And then he was like, oh, back problems. Oh, you go to chiropractor if you're married. I'm like, is that another benefits proposal? So, of course we were traveling everywhere, and this picture is at Versailles. And when we woke up that morning, I went down, and this is when Kanye and Kim were still together, and he wasn't.
Hey, cutie. There's my new home.
So we went down to concierge, and I was like, where did they get married? Because that's where he's gonna propose today. And Jeremiah was like, I'm proposing? I was like, yeah, we're gonna get a proper proposal today. And he's like, oh, there's this gazebo, the Temple of Love in Queen Antoinette's little area. So that's this Temple of Love, and there's this couple walking behind us. And I was like, do you mind taking a little video? He's about to propose. And we walked up there, and I was like, just get down on one knee and look up, and I'm gonna say yes, and then I can screenshot the video. So on our 1 year anniversary, we went back to the restaurant that we met at, and Jan, my best friend, was his best man, and then Brandy, who you've seen in some of the previous photos, was my best man at the wedding. And my friend, Bubba Delicious, who's an ordained minister and a drag queen in Atlanta, married us at the restaurant we met at. Yeah, and we've been together ever since, bought a house during COVID, and yeah, that's my baby, I love him. We have 2 dogs too. I have to mention our babies. My drag children, my children, they'd be jealous if I called the dogs the children. They'd get rid of them dogs real quick. What, you have a new child? We have Lucy, who is a Cocker Spaniel because my mother collects Cocker Spaniels, but then she got this baby Cocker Spaniel because she always thinks she wants a young one, and it was driving her nuts. And she's like, I'm getting rid of this Cocker Spaniel. And I was like, let me just take the Cocker Spaniel for you, and whenever you're ready for it, or we'll train it and get it all lovey-dovey. But then my husband fell in love with it and was like, she's never getting this dog back. And I was like, babe, we promised that we're just gonna make it lovey-dovey for her. So then when she was ready for it, she knew my husband wasn't giving it up, so she went out and got her another dog, which is like a more mature dog. So but it still makes her crazy. And then we were like, this little dog is not a security dog. So we thought we'd get a more scarier, intimidating dog. So my husband was like, if you could get a big dog, what would it be, babe? And I was like, a Doberman Pinscher would be sickening. I'm thinking about for photos and shit. I'm not really thinking he's ordering a dog. And then I come in the room, he's like, do you like this one or this one? I'm like, what are you talking about, this one or this one? And we got that stupid dog. I mean, we love her, Wanda, and she chews everything. She can reach up on top of the counters and pull a whole loaf of bread down for both of them to share. She can get your fresh bag of gummies that you just bought and chew them up and then throw up on top of the bag. So you can't even see if there's one in there for you. She can eat your whole couch and then you cover it with blankets and it looks like you're in some crash pad. And then your husband's like, let's get a new couch. I'm like, she's just gonna eat that one. He's like, we'll cover it with blankets. I'm like, so now our new couch is just covered with blankets so she doesn't eat that. She ate a chair. She ate that coat that I got proposed in. She eats everything. And we feed her well. But she's very scary, so don't come to my house because she'll probably eat you too. Oh, Jeremiah knows her ages. I'm not one of those people. I have 2 dogs. I don't know how old they are. We don't do birthdays. Jeremiah's like, oh, it's one of the, I'm like, you don't celebrate my birthday like that. We're not doing it for these dogs. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. They better not have got nothing for their birthday because I don't get nothing for my birthday. But I love my baby, and the worst thing about this is that I'm away from him so much, you know. But he's happy to see me when I get home. I love you, Jeremiah. I don't think I said his name. I just say my husband all the time.